Sindbad had the lust to travel, the urge to discover new places, meet new people, and face new adventures. Sitting comfortably at home wasn't thrilling for him at all. Namaste, my name is Shalini, and I'm here to tell you the story of Sindbad and his sixth voyage. तो हमेशा की तरह हिंदबाद द पोर्टर सिंदबाद द सेलर के आलीशान घर पर पहुंचा। हमेशा की तरह सिंदबाद ने हिंदबाद का स्वागत किया और हमेशा की तरह दोनों ने साथ मिलकर खाना खाया और हमेशा की ही तरह सिंदबाद ने हिंदबाद को अपनी समुद्री यात्रा की एक और कहानी सुनाई। सिंदबाद की आत्मा जैसे तड़प रही थी फिर से सफर पर जाने के लिए। तभी तो 5 खतरनाक समुद्री यात्राओं के बाद भी वो रुकने का नाम नहीं ले रहा था। अब तक तो उसके पास दुनिया की सारी दौलत और ऐशो आराम थे, पर सिंदबाद को अभी और चाहिए था। अभी उसे अपने खजाने में और जमा करना था। सिर्फ सोना और चांदी ही नहीं, किस्से और कहानियां भी। So Sindbad embarked on another voyage. He bought some expensive perfume and fine silk from the city of Baghdad for the purpose of trade, and he headed straight to the port of Basra, from where he boarded the ship with a captain who was meant to make long voyages, because this one was going to be a long one. Sindbad and other merchants, they travelled from island to island, trading here and there, and they made some good fortune. They were very happy with their trip so far, until one day their ship got caught in a stormy weather and it drove them completely off the course. Neither the captain nor the crew members had any idea where they were or where they were heading. "Look out! Rocks ahead!" calls the sailor from the top of the mast. That's when the captain realized that they were on the most dangerous spot upon the sea. The wind whistled and it whirled, and their ship spun around 3 times before it hit the bottom of the mountain. It dashed into pieces. The crew member, they plunged into the sea and they swam. They swam to the shore, covered in bruises and cuts, and half dead. They managed to scramble on the shore. Upon reaching the shore, the captain of the ship, he cried and he said, "Now that we are here, we better start digging our graves, because from this point on, nobody has ever returned." Well, hearing this, the crew members, they were disappointed. They were cursing their ill fate, because what the captain said was completely right. The island was totally blocked by this huge, tall mountain. From this spot on, they cannot go anywhere. But then they looked around. And they found the island was full of precious gems, precious stones, rubies, emeralds, crystals. They went crazy looking at that, and they started filling their pockets with all the precious jewels. What were they thinking? Because from this point they cannot go back home. Well, that island was sure full of treasure, but not a single grain of food to be found. No food there. And for how long can they survive without food? Soon, men started dying of hunger, one by one, until there's only one left. Yes, Sindbad. Well, Sindbad was also waiting for his end to arrive. He was cursing himself to be on this voyage. He was thinking, what was the need? I had all the comfort at my home. I could have sat comfortably there. What was the need to come on this voyage? Hadn't I had enough in my previous 5 dangerous voyages? He was thinking. But then he thought, if he could survive those, he sure can survive this. And there's an instant flash of energy that got into him. He stood up. He was not ready to give up. And he started wandering on the island. And that's when he observed a river of clean fresh water that was gushing out of the mountain. And instead of flowing into the sea, which generally rivers do, this one took a sharp turn and it went out of sight under a natural archway of rocks. Sindbad was curious. He wanted to see the path of the river, so he went closer to examine. And as he went, he saw the river was flowing into a deep cave. And then he thought, should I but then what were his options? He started thinking. But then what were his options? He started thinking. To stay here and die out of hunger? He looked back. There was this tall mountain which was just impossible to scale up. Would anyone come for his help? पर यहाँ तो मदद के लिए भी कोई नहीं आने वाला था, और अगर कोई जहाज गलती से पहुंच भी जाता तो वो उसी हालत में होता जैसे सिंदबाद का जहाज. That's when Sindbad decided to take chances with the river. और वैसे भी रिस्क लेना तो सिंदबाद की फितरत में था. So he quickly built up a raft out of driftwood. And he did one more clever thing. He collected all the precious jewels that he could from that island. Emeralds, rubies, crystals. And he packaged them. And he tied them on his raft, making sure not to lose the balance. And then he seated himself upon that raft. Right or wrong, it was his decision. And that's when he let the raft flew swiftly inside that dark cave. It sure was dark there, but so it was. And going forward, the channel became narrower and narrower, so much so that it was becoming impossible for Sindbad to sit straight. And that's when he lied on that raft. He was weak, he was hungry, and he was wondering, would I die of hunger? Would I ever be able to see the day of the light? And maybe at that point of time he went unconscious because he did not remember for how many days he'd sailed like that. And then he opened his eyes and he saw the light of the day. He couldn't believe his good luck, his lucky stars. His raft was tied to the river's bank, surrounded by men, friendly-looking men. The people there, they were greeting Sindbad, and their tone was friendly, and there's a lot of concern in their tone, but he couldn't understand what they were speaking. He did not know the language. Sindbad was so weak, he tried responding in the language that was known to him, Arabic. And luckily for him, one of the natives understood Arabic and he responded, Bhaijan, अब परेशान न हो, हैरान न हो, आपका बेड़ा पानी में बह रहा था, हम आपको यहाँ लेकर आए हैं, आपके जागने का इंतजार कर रहे थे, आप यहाँ पहुंचे कैसे? ये रास्ता ये रास्ता तो बहुत ही खतरनाक है। Sindbad surely wanted to respond to this man, tell his story, but that at that point of time, all that came out of his mouth was Khana, Khana, Khana. Sure, he was fed well. उसने भरपेट खाना खाया, उसकी जान में जान आई, और तब उसने अपनी आप बीती उन लोगों को सुनाई। उसकी कहानी सुनकर सब अचंभे में आ गए। उन्हें लगा ऐसी कहानी तो राजा को सुनानी चाहिए। And that's when they took Sindbad into the city of Serendip, Sri Lanka. That's where they were. And they presented Sindbad to their king. On meeting the king, Sindbad greeted him and told his name. And the king asked, "How come you're here, young man?" That's when Sindbad told him his adventure of how he has reached Serendip. The king looked at the treasure that Sindbad had brought with him, and Sindbad's eyes followed King's eyes, and Sindbad offered this treasure to the king. But the generous king, he shook his head and he said, "Sindbad, this has costed you your life. Nobody is more deserving than you are. Rather, I would like to add to this treasure as a gesture for your bravery." Sindbad was so humbled by the generosity of the king. The king offered him to stay for as long as he wanted in their city. After exploring the city for the next few weeks, Sindbad showed his desire to go back to his own country. And the king gave his consent. Not only his consent, the king gave him his ship and loaded him with rich gifts. Not only for Sindbad, the king gave royal gifts for the Caliph of Baghdad. A beautiful vase made out of a single ruby, a huge snake skin which would prevent sickness to anyone who would sit on that, and a letter of friendship to the Caliph of Baghdad. Well, Sindbad accepted his duty of presenting all this to the Caliph, and he set sail to the city of Basra. After a long voyage, he reached at the port of Basra, and the first thing he did after reaching there, yes, was to meet the Caliph in the city of Baghdad. He presented the gifts and the letter that he had brought with him, and the Caliph was so happy to see those gifts. He wanted to know the story behind it. Who doesn't love stories? He wanted to know the story behind this, and that's when Sindbad told Caliph the story of his sixth voyage. The Caliph was very impressed by Sindbad's bravery, that he presented him with some more gifts. Well, Sindbad thanked the Caliph and he returned back home. When Sindbad finished telling the story of his sixth voyage to Hindbad, he presented him with a bag of gold coins. And he said, Hindbad, मेरे दोस्त, कोई सफ़र नहीं आसान, अमीर हो या गरीब. कोई सफ़र नहीं आसान, अमीर हो या गरीब. असली सफ़र तो है वही जो है दिल के करीब. ये लो तुम्हारी अशरफिया, और सुनो, भूल न जाना, अगली कहानी सुनने कल फिर आना.